All right, welcome everyone. We are here in Montreal. I am joined by Mr. Jason Koonce. Jason, how are you?
What's up? Doing good, doing good.
It's his first podcast, guys, so he's not shy, but don't worry. We're gonna test out some of the stuff here. We got some cards for you to look at. We got all kinds of stuff. How much we got? 1 hour. We got a tournament today. You're kind of not just a sports guy now. You hit a big $1 million score earlier this year. You're sort of a poker player. You're a fantasy guy. Where do we start?
We can start with card. I mean, I'm still, I would say, amateur poker, amateur fantasy,
Just a hobby.
just a hobby, and professional sports cards and memorabilia. So
All right. Well, let's start with that. So you're known as you're one of the leaders in the industry. I know our mutual friend Tony Showich. He kind of I brought my collection over. You told me it was worth but I had my life's work of cards, and as a kid it was worth about I think you said to give me what 200 or 500 for the whole bundle. It was a lot of stuff,
I
but
think we were at $200. Yeah.
200 USD. You then showed me your collection, which is slightly more impressive, and we kind of dove through that. That was about a year ago, exactly right before the national show. Talk to me a little bit how you got into it and how this has become such a. Was this always a passion? Talk me through how you got into it at the very beginning.
Yeah, for sure. Pretty much like most people that I know that collect today, everyone started off collecting as a kid, like myself. Probably as young as like 8 or 9 years old. I remember having a local card shop in town, running up, like mowing lawns, shoveling snow, and then blowing all that money on baseball cards. So probably I did that for a few years, and then I found out about like card shows and all that stuff. So I mean, really early, 11, 12, like going with friends and their dad, and we'd go to local shows, and I kind of realized this was more of like a business than just a hobby, and started flipping dollar cards, $2 cards, and it kind of just kept growing and growing and growing, and kind of turned into what it is today.
So that was because I mean, as a plain, it's an unconventional business. You don't meet a lot of people that do what you do, and similar to poker, it's kind of people seem a little surprised or very curious. So I guess what would you say to someone? Because I mean, who was it? We were talking with Rob yesterday, and he's almost like this is the industry or this is a business, but it's a niche business.
Rob was blown away. Yeah, he had no idea. I mean, it's kind of funny because I mean, all throughout my life, I've kind of met people, and I've explained, what do you do? Buy and sell baseball cards and memorabilia, and the next question is, well, what do you do for a real job for income? And so it's kind of funny that no one ever really takes it serious, but when people start to research it a little more, they appreciate, where the hobby's gone with values and everything.
Let's scroll through here. So you have on your Instagram. I mean, there's some. So what's this? This is the pile you've bought of. This is Giannis only.
Yeah, this is a couple hundred Giannis 10. So this is an interesting story. So I met Gary Vaynerchuk a couple years ago. And we love. He's just obsessed with cards. Same thing. Started as a kid buying and selling. There's Gary V. And we just really hit it off as a friendship with just because we both love the hustle with cards. So about 6 months ago, we started doing I guess you'd call it a fund where we're basically investing and speculating on players, almost like a stock market. We thought Giannis was super undervalued. These cards in particular, we started buying at I think $125, and they're up to like $600-700 now, and so that's kind of the power of investing in players that you like. The downfall is if someone shits the bed, it's gonna be a downward spiral. So you really got to pick and choose, but obviously with Giannis, we felt pretty comfortable.
And so again, it's not just sports cards. So we see here, I mean, there's vintage Mickey Mantles. You got tickets from Wrigley, Jordan game worn jerseys. I know this jersey.
Well, that Wrigley ticket. That's
Babe Ruth.
Yeah, that's actually I mean, you've seen the story. Like that's the ticket where he actually called a shot. He looked out to center field and pointed like this, called a shot. What's cool about this is it's actually a full ticket. So very few exist in general, but someone didn't make it to this game. Like it's not a stub from the game, so they actually missed one of the greatest moments in sports history. So this is a full ticket. It's the only one I've ever seen.
And what is? Give us a bit of a spectrum on pricing for some of this stuff, just so we have an idea.
Something like that is worth around 100. I actually wouldn't. It's worth more than 100. I wouldn't sell it. I probably would sell it for 100,000. So it's tough because I would still be sad when I sold it because it's the only one I've ever seen, and I believe in this stuff long term, and it wouldn't surprise me if something like that is worth, hundreds of thousands in a few years.
And so, and it's the same thing with Wilt Chamberlain. I mean, these are things that I guess it's just there's such a wide range, and it's hard to really pinpoint. But you just know the value basically of all of these type of items, of all the different cards. You could tell me like a '96 of this random player's rookie card. You know the prices. That was one thing when we met. I mean, it's crazy. You literally are like a human catalog of Beckett. Like you just know every price. It seems like of every guy. How is that?
Yeah, I mean, this is all I've done for 20 years. So I mean, 7-8 hours a day of just this is my business. It's like studying for poker, studying for sports memorabilia and cards. When you're at these shows or you're in someone's house buying a collection, you kind of got to know this stuff, on the fly.
And is it do you ever have a hard time releasing items? Because like you said, some of these are specialty ones, but there's a price kind of, I mean, really, in that saying there's a price for everything. There is pretty much. I mean, there's some of these, I seen the one jersey, I think it was Olympic 92 or 6.
84.
84 Olympic game worn Jordan jersey was like one of 3 or something, or not, or 101 even.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a tough thing because I always joke with people, if I kept everything I like, I'd have the nicest collection in the world and live in a cardboard box.
Right.
So I kind of got to, flip some stuff to keep the lights on. But yeah, sure, obviously we grew up in, you're a big Jordan fan too.
Yeah.
Anything really cool with Jordan is hard to get rid of. That's kind of, if you walk around my office, you see a lot of autographed Jordan stuff hanging up. And then I just love basketball in general, huge basketball fan. That's kind of like transition into advice of what to buy. I love basketball. 80% of what I buy is basketball. I think it's undervalued. I love it. And like worst case, if the stuff ever goes to zero, I'll have a really good basketball collection.
Yeah, talk a little bit about the vintage versus the new era, because it's almost like 2 different sections. You were saying you're not really an expert as much in the newer stuff. I know you mentioned Blesnick, some other guys that are very targeted in that area. What percentage are you on the old stuff versus sort of the new era of stuff?
Yeah, I'm probably 80-20 old. I mean, to me, old is kind of established. It's where the big money's at right now. But with that being said, a lot of money's getting dumped into newer product. I mean, you mentioned Jared Blesnick. He is, huge into the modern. And some of these modern cards now, 50, 100, like a Tom Brady just sold for $400,000 a couple months ago. So a lot of money is getting dumped into the modern because people are seeing the prices in the vintage, some Mano rookies at, $3-4 million, and they want to put money into what they reckon, Stephen Curry, LeBron, Tom Brady, Jeter. So people that they've seen in their lifetime now. So it's gone crazy in the last 10 years with all the modern.
We were at the National last year, which was in Cleveland. I think I remember. This year it's going to be in Chicago. Talk a little bit about what the National is and how that I guess is almost like the World Series. It's short. It's a week or 5 days, but it's the World Series essentially of poker, right? It's like this is where all the big dogs go.
Yeah, it's I'm there for a full week. I mean, it's like the least amount of sleep I get all year. It's crazy, It's I think like we get like 2,000 vendors, and it sells out every year. And hundreds of autographed guests come in. It's just like if you need something, they always joke, if you don't find it at the National, it doesn't exist. So that's kind of like their motto.
And speaking of it doesn't exist, I want to see what's up, Vadrian. I see some other one in the Kasai Peter T-Show in the house, guys. Again, this will be on Spotify, iTunes. We're going to be everywhere. This is great that we're getting to do this live in person, but T-Show's in the house. The reason we're here, T-Show, we got to give the man some love. Wish you were here, buddy.
Yep.
We, I want to speak on that because I think that the interesting part, it's sort of like Bitcoin, where people can lose and they're never refound. I mean, there has to be, what's the estimated amount of cards that are buried or lost? It has to be a lot. Like guys that grandparents or people have it, they don't know it's worth something. So there's kind of fun too, because there's an aspect of treasure, right? Like you do hunting, you go to these shops or these national things. Like how much would you say like estimated valuable stuff like is out there, and how much of that do you think will be found?
Still a lot out there. I mean, 10-20 years ago, I mean, we advertise, buying collection stuff. We still get like 10 to 15 emails and calls a day. Obviously, after it's weeded through, usually like 1 or 2 end up being something. But I love it. It's like one of the most fun things in this business. I mean, even some of the guys that work for me, like a year ago, we bought a storage unit, and it wasn't it was like maybe 10 grand. And then I was digging through there, just loving it for like 7-8 hours, just sweating, enjoying it. And they couldn't believe that, I'm used to deal with the, super high end, bigger stuff and whatnot. But I mean, to dig through there, just that hunt for, maybe there's like a Mantle rookie in here or something, end up not being it. But yeah, I every time I go into a collection, it's like, your heart's pounding. It's like, is this going to be the one that, puts me.
Yeah, you hit a grand slam. What's on a deal like that? Just take that one for example. You paid $10,000. What was that worth? Did that one come ahead? I mean, how often are you getting winners in those spots when you buy big bulk deals?
Yeah, we buy a ton of quantity, so we don't try to, like, some people just try to beat you over the head one time, and like generally if we're trying to pay like 70% of market and just do volume and make it up, but like every now and then, if it's a big enough deal, we'll do pretty well. One of the craziest deals we had was guy called with like a 1961 Fleer basketball, which is Chamberlain's rookie, Jerry West's rookie, and he was just adamant on he has 965 mint 61 Fleer basketball cards. So I always hear people saying their stuff's mint, so I didn't really take it, but it was enough stuff. He goes, I have 18 Chamberlain rookies, 18 Jerry West rookies, and so this was enough to fly in. Well, when we get in, he had 8 unopened boxes, and all he did was went online and did the math of how many cards are per pack, how many packs are per box. So he had 8 sealed boxes, and he never mentioned that. So obviously it's worth a lot more. So that one was really good because we had a set price of what I was going to pay for the stuff, which was already going to be fair, and then to get in and find everything in sealed form. Wow. And he didn't really, I guess he didn't realize that being in unopened boxes was worth a lot more. So
yeah,
that was a home run, but it was just, that was kind of on the spectrum of crazy.
What's the craziest story you've heard? Not necessarily for you personally, but within the industry, like in terms of someone finding like $1 million or $500K card or getting some ridiculous deal. I mean, there must be stories like this pop out every year.
Yeah, I mean, every year there's like a big fine. There's a big fine in Ohio a couple of years ago, the Black Swamp fine, and it was a family. I guess they were rehabbing a house.
I never heard this.
Black Swamp fine? Yeah, it's like, so they were removing the floorboards, and apparently they found like 30 of each player, like Cobbs, Wagner, all these guys from like 1909, and like basically they were free to them, and the family kind of argued a little bit about it, so they ended up auctioning everything off for, I think everything sold for like $2 million. So that was a pretty good find. Just rehabbing a house and find $2 million worth of baseball cards.
In the Honus Wagner, actually, remember I think some gentleman from Montreal reached out to me on Instagram. We were doing a lot of giveaways. Maybe we'll have one. I don't know if we have time today. We might do something, but the guy, I remember he was saying he had a Honus Wagner. I mean, that's the one, right? That's like the most expensive card. There's a lot of fakes. There's a lot of frauds. Like you get how often are you people messaging you saying, "Oh, I got a Honus. It's legit."
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I haven't flipped one in years just because the value is so crazy, and just pretty much every time we get one, everyone gets excited, and like I gotta let them down, like sorry, this is not a real card. I don't know if there's been like a new discovery of one for a while, but yeah, 10-15 years ago you could buy and sell that card for a couple $100,000 in really low grade, and now I mean it's going to be over $1 million.
It's absolutely insane. And so you brought some cards here to add. I started a proper collection, because the one that my $200 life's work wasn't quite going to cut it. I wanted to get a little more into it. Can we maybe showcase a bit of some of what you brought and just explain to people a difference on? I mean, I guess here, there's some interesting cards. I got a couple. I love soccer, football, for the rest of the world. It's interesting to see the minting. Can you talk about a little bit about these cases? This is what gets me so excited, the grading, how it works. I think the lighting's a little funny here, guys, but you can see, it looks like you can see on there. So a 9, talk about the rating, what it means exactly, and give an example of like a Jordan rookie is like the most common, right? Like talk to us about what a 10 versus a 9 versus an 8 versus, graded officially or not graded. What is that?
Yeah, so this is, Jeff's collecting modern stuff right now because he's kind of buying, what he loves, new basketball. So there's 2 major companies, I guess 3 if you include Beckett, but PSA, SGC, and Beckett, BGS, and they rate everything basically 1 to 10 in the condition. So using like a PSA, like a Jordan, for example, like a Jordan and a graded a PSA 8 is like $2,500. A 9 is $5,000 to $7,000, and a 10's like $25,000 to $30,000. So huge jumps, and the difference between a 9 and a 10 could be, a little dot on the back of the card. So it's like huge jumps with like the littlest of detail.
There's got to be a lot of room to kind of wiggle then too, right? If that's where being a professional, not a fish, you're going to be able to know what's wrong, what's right with the card, you can not necessarily squeeze, but you know what it's worth and the inventory, who's looking for what. Who wants something, who wants to unload something. So that's got to be, that's a great spot to be in.
Yeah,
you just know exactly what's going on.
Definitely helps me. Like if someone has Jordan rookies that aren't graded and they want $2,000 a piece, like that may sound like a lot, but if I know these are going to PSA 9, 2,000 if it's worth 6,000 or 7,000, obviously is a great deal. But yeah, I mean the modern stuff, 8s, 9s and 10s are where all the money's at. Once you start to go back in vintage, 7s, 8s, I mean 9s are really, really rare in 50s, 60s, 40s, all the way back. Like example, the Wagner we were talking about, in a PSA 8, I know the owner of the card, he wouldn't take $10 million for it. So
that's the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Ken Kendricks, he owns the Arizona Diamondbacks, and he just loves the card so much, like he has no interest in selling it.
It's absolutely wild. So all right, cards, that's your main focus.
Yeah, so Tiger, I actually have a funny story. So Tiger,
that's a 10.
That's a 10, yeah. 10. So this card, this was like, I was just got out of high school. I was 18, bought my first place, and Tiger came out. It was just Tiger Mania, and I found out that if you open cases of this, you get 6 to 7 Tigers per case. So cases cost $170, $200, and the Tigers
is all golf cards.
These are golf cards. Yeah, Tiger Woods, obviously he was just like the biggest thing ever. So Tiger Woods, you buy the cases for $175, and you were getting $300 to $350 worth of Tigers.
Okay.
So basically, just by opening them and selling the Tigers, you double your money. So obviously, I saw the spot here, and I ended up buying like 8,000 cases. So I hired a bunch of buddies from high school. So I had 8 guys from high school working 24-hour shifts around the clock, cracking in my new condo, and we had wrappers, this high for 3 weeks straight, 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
We cracked 8,000 cases. So I had a little over of this card. At one point, I had about 52,000 of them or something in stock.
Holy shit!
Yeah, and
I feel special. I got the Tiger 10 right here.
Yeah, so you got the Tiger 10 in this collection.
Well, what's that worth? $50?
It's actually, I think it's like this thing was down to like $15 or $20, and now it's like closing in at 75. It's like went 4x since he won that tournament.
Yeah, the Masters is pretty. I mean, that's the cool part too. It's sort of like you said. It is like a stock. It's like guys go up, guys go down, guys go bust. Some story comes out or something happens. I mean, it can really fluctuate.
Oh yeah, I mean
the price.
Yeah, this was it's still not as high as it was like 10 years ago. This card was $150.
Mm-hmm.
So it went all the way down to 15 or 20. So if it's back up to 75 or 80. People that bought it they did well.
I want to talk. I definitely want to talk about fantasy sports. Poker we got to talk about as well. But I want to. I mean, the sports memorabilia stuff's just so fascinating to me. The fact that you were in high school. I mean, you were literally. So you grew up, born and raised in Michigan.
Born and raised in Michigan. Yeah. And
you started going to card shows.
Going to card shows. My mom was really cool. Like she, if I didn't have a mom that let me kind of. I mean, I remember literally getting like a national. Was in Anaheim when I was 15 years old, and I had some other buddies going out there. I'm like
Daniel Lai and poker.
Yeah, Daniel Lai, Joe Cassidy. Like it's crazy. A lot of these poker guys, like cards was cool before poker,
mm-hmm.
and then everyone like in like early 2000s, we all transitioned to poker, and now a lot of the like you starting a collection. Brian Rass. I mean, Bill. I think Perkins is going to start a class. So a lot of these
should be popping in the background here in a minute.
So we got Bill coming over. So a lot of these, it's like and Danny. I still talk to Danny when we talk about poker. He talks to me. Asks me what is going on in the card world. So even guys that did it and then they're out, they're still interested in it. So
I'll be honest. I love poker so much, but we've joked about it. I have a passion for it. I just remember cracking those decks like the Fleer Ultra 90 in the mid 90s, and I would go with my dad and take me, and I'd get allowance and stuff and go over there and go to these shops. I mean, it's fun. There's something really cool. You get to learn the players. You get to get stats. There's some other skill sets with it, trading and all this stuff. It's collections. It's nice. It's fun.
Yeah, and what's wild now is like when we did it, you could spend $50 on a box, $100 on a box, and you're probably like end up leaving the card shop with no money, no cards, but it was still fun.
Right.
Now the product, like some boxes are $4,000 a box. So, when we were opening boxes, you could pull out a couple $100 card. Now you can pull out $100,000 card. So it's like real gambling it's real money now. Like
we did the what's it called?
National Treasures. It was like
No, but what were we doing in Cleveland with T-Show and Shinman and me? What are those called? The pack opens or what?
We just all split the box.
But what's that called when you crack open a box? What's the term?
Just ripping wax.
Oh, ripping wax. Yeah, ripping wax. So when you go and rip wax and you're just in there, I mean, it's you can literally win. It's like hitting. I mean, you're playing the lottery a little bit.
Yeah, we cracked about one. We had one group. I think we spent like 5,000, and we ended up selling the stuff for like 8,000. Mm-hmm. And then we did another run. We bought a box for 3,000. I think it turned into about $500 or $600. So that was a bust. But yeah, I mean, it's a rush, dude. Like, I mean,
we flipped stuff too. There was some we bought something.
Yeah, we bought a tire booth out, and then we flipped the booth, and everyone made.
It was fun to watch you work in your element. I'm looking forward to Chi-Town. I feel like we were in the
Chicago's gonna be
the JV version. This is gonna be the national. It's a big difference, right? You're saying they were even talking about only doing it in Chicago because it does rotate some venues. It's usually Cleveland, Chicago.
Yeah, they do Atlantic City, which is awful. Baltimore sometimes, like I know you Baltimore, you're MP, but
be easy on Baltimore.
Baltimore's not a bad show, but Chicago just Chicago's a fun city. Gets a lot of traffic and Jordan, everything. It's just a good spot for the show.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be fun. All right. Well, so crazy. It's crazy journey, man. I know we've talked. We don't have time to go through the whole ups and downs and just like learning. But you've been in how many total years now? And officially, have you been? And would you say you've been in this since? I mean, high school, but before even, right? I mean, you've been.
Yeah. I mean, I guess fifth. I mean, I'm 36 now. So was that fifth? I'm 15. It was 15. I started making really good money, like crazy.
Yeah.
In this business, so. It's been a while.
21 plus years. Pretty amazing. Talk. I want to go into poker because of the pretty amazing story this year as well. Having we have with Evan and Bill, and we were joking down the Bahamas. We call it just a hobby. You've got a 7-figure poker score. It's pretty incredible. If you look at your Hen and Mob, you've got
took a little time off there.
Yeah, you haven't really played much, but you did get a big bink there. So we'll come back to that. But talk about fantasy sports and what your love is with that and how much you're playing. Like, what was the peak of fantasy sports for you, and how much are you doing now?
Yeah, peak was 2015. I mean, fantasy was great. I mean, I was probably a losing player 2012, 2013. It was still early on in fantasy. And then I actually met he's one of the top pros now. He's actually a card guy, which is crazy. One of the top fantasy pros is a card guy. And we ran into the National. He came up to me and said, "What are you doing?" Like, I was just donating, the complete and so he spent like 6 months with me and just kind of wrapped my head around like how it works. So you got to put the time in. It's just what it comes down to. So after we talked, like we started he was more of like a numbers guy. I was more of like a feel like. So I mean, I was putting 6-7 hours a day researching in fantasy. It was really profitable for a while and did that for a few years. I still play a little bit. It's just it's like poker. Everyone's got so good that it's you got to really be at like the top 1% to.
Yeah, and I mean you got 3 kids now.
Yeah, it's just,
amazing wife. It's hard to you're gonna be the best of the sports memorabilia. You can't then do fantasy and do poker and do it all.
And that's kind of what we mutually we both have worked with Elliot Rowe and love Elliot. Shout out to Elliot. And that's kind of what Elliot just is like. Do you want to be the best in fantasy? You can do it. Just like, but we're going to need to focus all your time and energy towards that. Like, you can't focus 10 hours a day into cards and memorabilia, a few hours to, poker, a few hours to family, and then you still got to sleep. So, you can only cut yourself so thin. And that's the problem with fantasy is, if lineups lock at 7 and you just want to, if you just want to gamble, you can throw a lineup in a half hour, 20 minutes, and like, you're probably going to be dead money. I mean, really, you need to start. For 7 o'clock baseball, I was starting at like noon.
Right.
So it's just really time consuming.
What's the biggest fantasy win you've had?
I hit one day, I think, in football for like 480. But I mean, I've had, a lot of 6-figure days. And, I think 2015, I mean, all the finals, like there's a lot of 100K tournament buy-ins. Like those are always fun. I think I came in third at the Playboy. I don't even remember what it was, but we could Google it somewhere. But yeah, it was a lot of good.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I'm just flashing over here to these mantles. This is your collection?
Yeah, this was just a group of mantles we bought. I mean, they're all not super high grade, but it's just cool to see like quantity.
It looks spicy.
Yeah.
They look nice. How much would you estimate this type of
not crazy. I mean, 20 grand maybe. You know, it's like if that was all high grade, I mean, it'd be millions. So
it really is amazing. It's crazy. We were talking earlier, guys. I see we got people coming in right now. We were talking earlier about working with Gary Vee on some stuff. So he's is he one of those guys? Like, he just love it? Like, does he actually love it, or is it like he's just interested because it's a business, or does he genuinely love cards?
He's in love with it. I mean, like, he's like one of the hardest guys to get a hold of, and like I'm sure there's people that are like months out in meetings, and we'll chat for like 20-30 minutes a day about baseball cards. Like, it's crazy. And yeah, he's like in it, like he loves it, like he's like a kid in a candy store.
That's man, and it really is. It's funny to see because I see how it is. I've been with you when we've sort of talked to people, or you just kind of catch that when you look at you see the casing, you see the gradings, and it's really not something that you can explain unless you've done it or you've sort of talked to someone who really understands it, because it's probably the most fun collecting thing. I mean, if you look at coins or like other stuff, like there's just something about a card that's got some personality to it.
That's what I always joke, like coins is like right now cards does 10% of the business as coins, and I always ask people, like, do you know anyone that buys and sells coins? And the answer is usually no. Cards to me is just like on a huge upswing and has like a huge level to grow. Like, I think cards will be bigger than coins at some point. But yeah, funny you're talking about like different people that get in this. Dimitri Young used to play for the Tigers, and huge obsession. Like, he wanted every major rookie in Gem Mint 10. Like, he just complete sickness. And he loved this stuff so much. Like, I'd meet him out on the road. Like, I met him in LA one time, and he's on a road trip for, at the time, I don't know if he was playing for the Nationals or the Tigers, but he had 2 bags with him. He'd carry 2 bags on like this 2-week road trip. He had 1 bag for all his luggage and 1 bag for his collection. And he'd literally carry his collection with him everywhere he went.
Yeah, some guys bring an Xbox and they're
he brings like a box of like $1 million in baseball to show off, because he loved it so much. He'd show it off to other players, and he actually got some other people hooked into it. It's, you either love it or you don't, but most people get hooked right away. Like, they see it and just like kind of like
it brings back a memory to it. At some point you collected, or kids had some cards.
Yeah, most people collected,
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. All right, poker. Well, speaking of poker, we're gonna take some questions, which is on my Twitter. We're gonna do a giveaway, 2 $33 tickets on Party Poker, which we're here for the millions. Jason actually flew in not just for the podcast, which was we've been talking about trying to do this for a while, but there is a big poker tournament here.
Yeah, Party Poker.
Rob Young putting on a very big guarantee as usual. They're going for the fences, so this will be a nice one. But we are, Playground Poker, beautiful place. You haven't been before.
I haven't been yet. No, it was a 10K that we're playing, and that started like half hour ago.
Half hour ago, but we're gonna get in there.
Fashionably late.
I have to come back for day 1B. I did not make it through on day 1A. It's 1 reentry per day, but that'll be fun. So we'll get to play some cards today. You did have a monster score, which was in January, the PCSP, I believe it was called, but it was a 25K buy-in. I forget how, over 1,000 entries, I think.
I think 1,040 or something.
1,040. We're gonna have to pull that up on the Hendon Mob, but it was like 5 million, 6 million at first. I know we were sweating very hard. It was a lot of fun, and you ended up final tabling. We have a clip on from my YouTube vlog where you declared it. Literally, you were like, I forget what you said, but you're like, I'm gonna final table.
Yeah, I didn't say I was gonna win. I think I just said I'm a final table. I wish I would have said I was gonna win.
You were chip leader at the final table. Some crazy hands, and it got very intense. But you won over $1 million. What is that like as because you like poker a lot, you used to play a lot. How is let's talk about that. Let's go first to your poker history. So you got in, you said it got kind of popular around the same time, right? Moneymaker area.
Yeah, so even before Moneymaker, I guess right around Moneymaker. I actually moved out to LA. Me and Danny Eli were, we just left we were doing sports cards, and we're just like, hey, everyone else is playing poker, let's give it a try. So it's like, this might even be before Moneymaker, 2002.
Okay.
Just loving it, living in LA, going to Commerce every day, playing, just kind of still learning. There wasn't, as much information out there back then, so you kind of self-taught, and a lot of money in the beginning to learn, I guess. A lot of losing sessions.
Expensive hobby initially.
Yeah, very expensive hobby when you're not really going about the right way. So I still, I just played for a while and then jumped, back and forth between poker and cards. Danny at the time ended up going, full-time poker. And it's something I didn't have a lot of time with business for tournaments. Like, as my hand in my week, I played a couple tournaments in my life, and I mostly just try to play cash games. Just because you can play for 10 hours and then get out and go do what you're doing.
Or 30 minutes or an hour, you're not locked in.
Yeah, whatever you're good to do. Or tournaments, obviously if you run deep, you're locked in for days, so you have to be really committed. That's what kind of the Atlantis. We all started talking about this like 6 months ago, or how nice vacation. I'm living in Michigan. The winters obviously are a little rough in January. So me, Evan Mathis, my buddy, we were like, just make a commitment. Let's go to the Atlantis and play this event. I locked off 7 days for this tournament, assuming I was going to make it to the final table.
Yeah.
And I figured worst case I'd spend some time at the beach. So it was the first time I actually locked off like enough time to play an event. So. And
you make the final table. It's a huge money up top. You hit a 7-figure score. What was that like? Was it how was that feeling of just being there, having it being televised professionally? Very cool. You got your family got to watch and just being there. Was that it was a pretty surreal experience? Like, I mean, that's got so again, we joke about just a hobby, not a hobby. I've been playing poker a long time. I've played in various events. I have some good scores, but I haven't had a 7-figure score. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a lot of fun. I remember when I got knocked out, it was like I was so exhausted that I didn't really have time that night to think about it. Obviously super happy, but like the next couple of days, like you start thinking of like everything you could have done differently, because it's still a ton of money, but there's a big difference between 1.3 and 5 million when you're just a couple spots away. So it's a little bummed out at that, but obviously you always want to win, but it's 1.3 is a pretty nice consolation prize.
Yeah, it's nothing to sneeze at. And what are your future plans for poker? World Series this summer? Are you coming in and out? Any events other than?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I love playing Omaha actually. Like, No Limit's like my second game. I would say I'm a better PLO player than No Limit. But so there's a couple 10K PLO. Probably going to try to play the main event. Just falls on such a bad time every year. It's like 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
We got a place in Northern Michigan we go to for like a week. My wife and kids are up there. So I kind of got to pick and choose.
I think the last day this year is the 6th or 7th. Like, there's a 4th is day 1A maybe or something like that. Okay. So like you could potentially come in on like this third day.
Play the last day. Yeah.
I don't know if there's 3 or 4 days, but yeah. And the PLOs are fun too. Yeah, they have 10K, 25K PLO. It's a 50th year, so it's a special. It feels like it's going to be a big summer. This will be my first time. I don't go for the full thing, so hopefully we can coordinate, go out with. Bill wants to come in and out. It is hard. It's summertime.
I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna come in. I mean, I plan on being there probably 3 different times, but not through the whole thing. We were talking about just renting like a sick house with a pool, bringing all the families out and stuff.
Yeah.
It just.
Give me one more year. Let's do it next year.
Yeah, Vegas is just so hot in the summer. That's the problem. So.
But yeah, it's true. That's one thing. Michigan's cold. It's really nice in the summer. Like I live in Miami now, and it's hot there.
We'll do it next year. Mackenzie's watching. Wifey's are watching.
Hi, wifey. I saw Jay Wisecaver in the chat. Mark Millard. What's up, brother? Big. Hold on.
Is that Bill?
That might be Wild Bill. Hello. Hold on. Let me text you because I'm on. One sec.
We're live, Bill.
Security. Yeah, Bill wants to know room numbers. I thought I texted him in the chat. Wild Bill Perkins going to come in for a little bit of the end here.
Okay. Perky.
Yes, Bill's coming
Perky
up.
cash in the 25. Everyone
all the non-pros.
Not a hobby cashed.
Like, they really did well. You guys did a great job. That hurt. Let's see. All right, Bill's coming up. So we're talking poker. We got giveaways. Let's do the questions. Let's get in there because now we got.
We run a little over. We're fine.
Yeah, we'll get. Actually, we're gonna scroll, guys. If you want to get in on this, if you want to ask a question, you can go over on Instagram. There's a swipe up, I believe, from yesterday where the questions are, and then on Twitter we're gonna take some of these. We're gonna do a couple giveaways, and we might. Koonce has been a staple. Actually, that's what I want to talk about. The 2 things. One is you're a crazy giveaway guy because on our show, on the Flow show on Twitch, I mean, you've given away, you've gone a little crazy. I literally whisper, sorry guys, I got to admit, I tell him to calm down. Like he'll be like, let's give away 100 cards or something. Like, you don't need to go crazy, just have fun. But I want to talk about staking, and Stake King's a pretty funny story because Jason Koonce, not to be confused with Jason Koon, who is also a member of Party Poker and a great one of the best players in the world. Not to say you're not, one of the best players in the world. Maybe your resume is pretty strong, but people were buying a piece because you were posting action on StakeKings, the platform, which is amazing because people's like crowdfunding where people can have a sweat. Also, you don't have to deal with your friends collecting. Yep. You got people put up and they just say, hey, you don't have to text them. They give it. So now people were buying pieces of you thinking that you were the tournament wizard superstar phenom Jason Koon, and then it's a guy that caught some heat on Twitter or it got some excitement, and someone said to Jason, I got a ridiculous deal about a piece of you, and he's like, sorry bro, it's not me. So I wonder, what was the actual total amount of action that, like, of how many different people do you know had a piece of you on from this, and were there people that bought a piece and then took it out because they didn't know it was you?
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't. Dude, is that Bill?
That's Bill. Bill's on the podcast.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, there he is. Former podcast Testing's back. Bill's in the mix. So let's order some.
Yeah, don't worry.
The Tiger card. Just fresh off the Masters win. Bill's got the Tiger card. Take whatever you need. We got more of that.
I'm playing golf with him.
Yeah, that's a mint 10, man.
Game of war.
Mike, you only have 52,000 of these, right?
We'll get Bill one.
All right, you can find Bill's
still
card.
some under my bed.
Bill, order in that room. Order off. There's a phone in there. Fire away. Do you want some?
Give me a piece of chicken or eggs or something.
No, I don't eat meat.
Order me some. Order anything you're ordering for me. Give me something too.
I just gotta find the menu.
All right, Bill's.
We're live.
Yeah, we're live. We're live on the podcast. Bill's getting room service.
Bill just put
a background.
Yeah, no, it's good. That's exciting. We got into this is good background action, guys. All right, so we got derailed here for a second, but poker. Yeah, so he does fantasy, he does sports cards, he does poker.
So we're talking about the Jason Koon thing.
Oh, Jason Koon. So not to be confused with Jason Koon, but yeah, do you know how many people actually bought a piece?
It was a few. It wasn't a lot of money. It was just like the whole story is just crazy because.
Someone who might have put in $20 or $100 thought they had a piece of Koonce.
Yeah.
Literally, how many times X'd was that? Like a 70X?
50 or 60X, I think.
Yeah, so you put in nice, $100, $100
$6
grand, $5 grand.
Yeah, that's not a bad little hit for
especially if it's a misclick.
Yeah, misclick. You think it's so? Yeah, like I ran into Jason. Like we were laughing because people were like, busting his balls about it. It was funny when we actually got to the Atlantis. They checked me into Jason's room, and Evan got there. Evan booked our rooms.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Evan booked our rooms. So when I got there, Evan said, he calls me and said, where are you at? I said, I'm in my room. He said, no, you're not. So I was like, oh shit. So I go back down to the lobby and like, it was just first couple days, me and Jason were cracking up.
So they actually put you into his room.
They put me into Jason Koon's room.
And you dropped the deuce, didn't you? I think you told me that. I think you did.
Yeah,
sorry, Jason.
I might have went to the bathroom in there.
Yeah, but they came back and sorted it out.
I don't know if they
anyway,
did.
that might maybe not. Maybe I'm kidding. All right, well, so that's a pretty crazy story. So all right, so poker this summer, some World Series. We're playing day one. Be any strategy, any tips for the amateurs out there that you're just a hobbyist? You're one of the best, just a hobbyist I've ever met. So what do you do? How do you penetrate a field against super wizards and just get there after really not training or studying? How do you do it?
Tight aggressive.
Tight aggressive. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Tight aggressive. I think so. We're all going over to Playground after this. We do have a bunch of questions. We want to make sure we get that. That's something we like to do. Let's fire over here and just sort of scroll through. I saw some good ones. Better position to you or who will finish better position in Montreal? This sounds like we usually like to do swaps, but this sounds like it lasts longer. What's going on?
Yeah, I already answered that. I said me. But. We'll see. I mean, as of right now, Jeff's actually running pretty hot this week, so it's probably not a good time to pick myself. But like I said, I'm going to make 20th. So if Jeff does better than 20th, he's got.
Oh, you already answered. You even got.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I went in there and said me.
I like it. All right. Well. Here we go. We just talked about Lucas Gio asking, it confuse you with Jason Koon and has it benefit or hurt you from a poker table? Do people confuse you?
No, not really. It was just the whole name thing. I mean,
you guys are both in super great shape.
So Jason's in a little better shape than me. I mean, I'm actually doing a lot better down like 35 pounds since the. Tell Bill.
Bill's causing havoc. Hello. All right, Bill, you got it. All right, Bill's in there. Bill's causing havoc on the show. So man, this is unbelievable. This is a professional.
He's ordering food. We're gonna leave. Like we're heading. Tell him we're leaving for the.
It's all right. He'll be here fast. Okay. We're gonna leave as soon as it's over. We might get through all the questions. How did it feel busting fit? Oh, sorry. Did you answer that? We got the phone rang. Does it bother you or has it affected you at all? Or you don't play that much poker. It's not
not really.
Table,
yeah, a few people you look online and look at your seat and like Jason Koonce but at that point I think a lot of the people knew like the story there. So it lasted for a day or two, and then it blew over.
All right, and they're asking about how does it feel busting in fifth in the PSPC? Were you gutted or proud of getting that deep and cashing for $1.3 million in the biggest 25K in the history of poker? It's pretty sick.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't want to be an asshole and sit here and say,
yeah, $1 million, I'm tilted.
I don't want to say I'm tilted winning 1.3, but you always want to win. I mean, I'm competitive. Like if I'm playing with my buddies playing 1-2, I want to felt everyone at the table. So same thing. Obviously, a lot bigger money, but you want first, doesn't happen. When you're crying in your pillow, 1.3, kind of helps the tears a little bit.
Yeah, it's that's a good way to answer. That's a lot of cheese.
This is French territory. You're supposed to be able to get an omelet any time of the day. That's a complaint. Like if you go to France, the one thing I love about France is eggs any time of the day.
24/7.
You go to dinner, you be like, I'll have an omelet. They'll be right away.
Yeah, that's that Playground will hook that up. So if you just get a snack here, and then we're gonna go. Are you leaving Koonce?
Playground will hook it up. That's a plug.
We're going Playground Poker. It is. They're the best.
Right there.
They got the best. All right, we got somewhat favorite card or memorabilia as a kid and now as an adult.
89 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr.
Get some of these. There's some good stuff in there.
You know that card, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just such a classic. Love it. Yeah.
What's the value on that one?
Not much. I mean, it's like $400 or $500 in a PSA 10. It's worth $50 ungraded. So just it's a staple since I was a kid. 89 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr.
What's your core? Do you have a core collection? I mean, there's some, like I said, price or anything, but you have your own personal, right? Because that's sort of how you do it. You have a collection you're sort of flipping, and then you kind of tuck some stuff away that you don't.
Yeah, I tuck basketball away, and actually weird, I collect checks, autographed checks. So I have hundreds of checks of Marilyn Monroe, Thomas Edison, Bruce Lee, Abraham Lincoln. I like checks like that. The checks are I guess that is pretty sweet. I've never really thought about that. Yeah.
That's like a niche thing, right?
Yeah,
it's all. How many times do people contact you for stuff like that? What's a breakdown of sports cards versus the vintage or tickets and brochures and crazy stuff?
Yeah, I mean 80% cards, 20% memorabilia, autographed tickets, and all that stuff.
And this is what they're asking about the staking thing. Were those who bought share in error, were they refunded, or when they read the name correctly? Do you know? I don't actually know. Did you hear about?
I don't think enough people put money in. I know who was the one guy who put the Twitter guy that was famous that he put $10 or you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, Uncle Ron.
Yeah, Uncle Ron. He's the one. I mean, I think he put $10 or $20 in, and he was just making a stink about it. But I think it was all in good fun. It was pretty funny.
So favorite card, we went over that. What about favorite starter cards?
Buy what you like. I mean, stuff that you think's undervalued. Literally, last few months when I bought all those Giannis's, I loved watching Giannis and thought he was undervalued and just went nuts buying Giannis. So yeah, don't try to buy to pick what's gonna just buy what you love.
Tell them my theory, Koon. Tell them my theory.
What's your theory?
My card theory. Undervalued historical figures.
I know, but the one we were talking about, I can't let people in on that secret yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I'm actually buying those up.
I mean, this is the podcast.
Without me?
You're gonna. We'll talk about.
No,
it.
we're busy.
I give him the idea.
Me and Gary V are buying them up.
That is so wrong.
No,
you're in. You're in.
Guys, we're live. We're live on a podcast. We can't talk about all the secrets here.
We were trying to buy some cards here. It is a
card. It's happening. No, you're right. You're right. We got to have a couple secrets here. We got fantasy questions. I don't know if you consider yourself a fantasy pro, but what's some advice if someone wants to get into that space from what you've learned?
If you're just looking for action that night, $10, $20, spend 20 minutes, put your lineup. But if you're going to do real money, these guys are killers, and you need to spend a lot of time. I mean, like I said, when I was doing it almost full time, I was spending 6-7 hours a day researching. Information is everything, and if you think you're going to put together consistent winning lineups with 20 minutes of research, it's just not going to happen. So put the time in.
This is hilarious. T-Show's in the chat saying he dropped a deuce, exclamation point. T-Show's got a famous deuce story where he's known as T-Shit. Now T-Show would clog the toilet at a friend's house. Yeah, so T-Show's calling people out. T-Show just got upgraded to Gray Cloud status this week, which is big. I mean, he's been Black Cloud for a long time. Yeah, he's a great guy, though. We can't say too much. So, all right, fantasy poker. He's giving advice on everything. I don't know what that was. What tournament? Okay, so tournaments, we went over that. What you plan to play this summer?
Yeah.
Will you be able to play the main or no?
I'm gonna try. Like I said, if I'm up north and it's beautiful out, I'm gonna stay in northern Michigan, and if it's rainy and not, I'll fly in and play.
Fair enough. Is poker a real sport for you?
I mean, I guess, yeah. It's poker to me is one of the coolest things in the world because it's like the only thing. Like if you love basketball, like you can't go play 1-on-1 with Jordan. Like poker is literally the only thing that you could buy into a tournament and like sit next to like Phil Ivey or Negreanu or Jeff Gross or Bill Perkins. So that's the one crazy thing about poker is literally just put your buy-in in, and so.
Yeah, you get to interact, have fun. It all doesn't matter with who.
I guess we could call it a sport too. I mean, I've noticed more like 15 years ago when I played, I could play for like 3 or 4 days straight, and that was the biggest thing at the Atlantis. Like, it wears on you. I mean, playing 6-7 days straight for 10 hours a day, like,
no, for sure.
I mean, you're exhausted. So there's like, it's definitely a mental war. That's for sure.
Yep. What is the card in your collection that you like the most? You kind of covered this. Maybe give us a few more. Like, give us like a top. Give us like your 5 or 10 favorite cards. It's just something special about that are so cool, or like how they look, the design. What's from your high school days that you like, do you still love, or what? I mean,
something. Everyone, they're pretty expensive, but if you can afford a Jordan rookie, I mean, everyone should have a Jordan rookie.
I don't have a Jordan rookie.
You got to get one. Ras got one.
I don't want to get blown.
Ras has a collection now. He's a Jordan rookie. I mean, like I said, I keep going back to basketball. I mean, I have baseball and stuff too, but like everything I grew up on, Iverson, Kobe, Jordan, all those guys from 80s and 90s, Bird Magic, baseball now, like Trout. Buy what you love.
All right, we'll get let's see. So plants. What is your favorite game? I guess that's PLO, right? In terms of poker.
Yeah, PLO 8.
Oh, there's a 10. Would you play like
that's
that?
What I'm, yeah, that's what I'm going to come out and play that. And then Elliot's got a masterminds June 7th and 8th that we're going to. Are you coming out for that?
Yeah, I'm coming for it. What was your oddest piece of memorabilia? What's the most bizarre, or something that stands out? It's not normal.
I can't think of something particular, but when I go and buy collections, people automatically assume like, if they have someone's autograph, like it's worth money. But when people get stuff signed in person, like they get signed the craziest shit, like whatever they have on them. And I've seen girls that have like autographs on like a bra, a T-shirt, like just the weirdest stuff, and like they think like it's worth money. Nobody wants to buy someone's So it really depends what stuff's on. So I mean, I've seen autograph stuff, napkins at bar, it's got to be on like baseball, basketball, jersey. You don't just want to there's some random autograph on like something weird.
And also personalized too, right? If it's personalized.
Personalized kills it too. So yeah, and I know there's a lot of athletes out there. Like some of them just sign and don't care. But there's guys that will like they have to personalize it because they don't want you profiting off of their signature.
Who's some of those guys?
I'm not gonna name names, but there's some guys out there.
They literally just do it.
And like they're like not gonna let them to resell it. They'll only sign it if you give them their name so they can personalize it.
Which is kind of funny because it's like they're doing more work and it goes out of their way.
They're doing more work, but they just it tilts them that they don't want someone selling their signature for $100.
Wow, interesting. All right, who is the funniest player you've ever played against?
I mean, Madisau is pretty loud. He's a super nice guy. He can be pretty loud sometimes. The funniest player, I don't know if I have a funniest player. It's just like I don't know. Madisau.
Okay. Greetings. How many events? So we've covered this guys earlier as well. And what do you think about the Golden State sweep?
A little shocked, to be honest. I mean, I thought Houston was going to give them a little more run, and then they just ran through Portland. I'm a big Bucks fan. I got money on the Bucks. I mean, I have Bucks meeting Golden State in the finals. I think, we'll see. Like I said, I'm a big Giannis guy, so hopefully this is the year. Bucks have home court, so hopefully the Bucks get past Toronto. They lost last night.
Yeah, it's 2-2 now. So it's still a little sweat. Have you ever fallen asleep playing online poker and that you? It's kind of a bizarre, like a specific question, but have you ever like just played and just like or been like tired and like F it?
I mean, I used to play a ton, like back in the day on party poker, like
right.
And, no, I don't think I've ever fallen asleep. I mean, I was like young. I mean, stamina was way better. Like, yeah. I'd probably fall asleep now. I mean, definitely with the kid. I got 3 kids at home. Like,
yeah, it's
every moment I can get to sleep, I would.
what is OTIA Sports dedicated to? I guess what's the mission statement?
So OTIA Sports. So at the full business name is One Team International Agency. So what we didn't talk about is we also do a lot of like private signings, speaking engagements with athletes.
Yep.
So that's where that kind of came into play. That's 10% of our business. We still do a lot with we've done stuff with Magic Johnson. We've done some signings with Mike.
Yeah.
So One Team International Agency. We shortened to OTIA. So that's where OTIA comes from.
So we're getting this question a lot. I've already answered. What is your favorite card or piece of memorabilia? What about favorite piece of memorabilia? I don't know if we said that specifically. Is that Jordan one? That jersey?
I mean, the Jordan jersey. One of the coolest things I have Wilt Chamberlain's rookie contract. So I have one. The Hall of Fame has one. Wilt Chamberlain signed a 2-year deal for $50,000, and I paid more for the piece of paper than Wilt got paid for his 2 years of basketball.
Wow.
So that's kind of a cool piece that I have. I have a couple Kevin Durant game-worn jerseys from his rookie season. Most people don't know he played in Seattle. He was the Seattle Sonics, then went to Oklahoma.
Yeah, he was there for at least, was it for a while?
1 year, yeah.
He was there for a whole year, okay.
So, I got a lot of cool stuff. Those are some of my favorites.
I'm just going to take, what do you think, so the Greek, the Freak, what other players are you pretty high? Oh, I saw a question about Zion actually come in. You're high on Zion, aren't you?
I was way bigger on him before the draft played out. Like, going to New Orleans, I really thought he was going to go to the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks rigged it 20 or 30 years ago with Ewing.
Rigged it?
Yeah, it was rigged.
What do you mean? Is this a scandal?
So this is the story. So yeah, the rumor was when they were doing the lottery in '85 with Ewing that the Knicks card, they froze it. So when he's reaching around, he's reaching for. You even see him. He picks up a card and puts it back down, and then reaches and he grabs the cold card, and it's the Knicks.
No way.
Yeah.
This is like a folklore. Or
this is. I mean, it's a story, but it's. I mean, I think there's
Google this.
You can Google for sure. So that they wanted Ewing to go to the Knicks, so Ewing went to the Knicks. Obviously, it's a different world now, so I don't know if you can get away with that.
Froze the card. They
froze the card, and
on it.
But now, I mean, obviously it's not rigged because Zion went to. He's going to go to the Pelicans, which is not good for. I mean, it probably cost the sports world, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Are you for real? Really that big of a swing?
He'll still sell. I mean, he's still going to be great, but if he would have went to New York or the Lakers. It would have been big.
Was it? How did that actually break out in terms of math? What was the? Because I don't understand the lottery exactly. It's you get more pulls if your record's worse, or you get more tickets in the.
Yeah, I mean, I think the top 3 or 4 teams all had like a 14% chance, so it's still not great. But yeah, the Knicks ended up getting the 3rd pick. But yeah, it was a really weird year. I think Pelicans were like a 1%er.
Oh really?
Yeah, they were. Maybe not 1, but they were low. Yeah.
So and he's going. He went to the. He's going to
go to the Pelicans, and then I think I love Zion.
Could he get traded to the Knicks or something, or no, or to somewhere?
I think that Anthony Davis is going to get traded to the Knicks. I think Durant's going to go to the Knicks. I'm pretty confident about Durant's going to go to the Knicks.
Wow.
Heard it here first.
Yeah.
I actually think AD is going to go to the Knicks. So.
Wow.
And. Yeah.
So that would now, because Zion didn't. I mean, if Zion had gone to the Knicks, they wouldn't have been able to get all those guys, both of them.
Yeah. So it
just depends.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out, but it'll be.
Yeah, because it's. I mean, for Zion too, that's a huge swing. I mean, that's actually, you must know more than anyone, but that in professional sports, when you get drafted or where you go, it's a pretty crazy swing. Like you go somewhere, and there's a big lifestyle difference between going to one of the a city that you want to be in, and the team you get to play with, and the coach and all that. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, he's big enough too. I actually think he seems pretty happy, like he's going to go to New Orleans. But I mean, I've actually heard rumors of people saying that if I was Zion's agent, I would tell him go play in Europe for a year. Tell the Pelicans you're not going to play for him. So re-enter the draft next year after you go play. You're not going to sign with them. So he could do that too, but that's probably a stretch.
That's a wild play.
I mean, if it was Milwaukee, he might do that.
Yeah, there's certain cities like
imagine living in Milwaukee versus Los Angeles.
Milwaukee's good though.
Yeah, New Orleans. Yeah,
it's a good team.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like,
for life to live. Yeah, because he's gonna be a 15-20 year guy deal.
Yeah,
he's gonna be part.
Yeah, New Orleans is not the ideal spot, but I guess it could be worse. Could be Minnesota. So
there's other. It's always could be different. Do you practice some sport apart from playing poker? You practice some sport or hobby? What's your go-to?
Like playing,
yeah,
I love playing basketball. Golf. So I suck at. I'm awful. I actually, but I put a par 3 at my house. So I play 3 or 4 times a day at my house. It's pretty.
That's a lot. That's a lot of action.
Well, it's par 3 course. Just go out and hit it every day. Friends come over, play golf.
That is fun. What was a crucial hand for your 5th place PSPC? I guess good or bad. Is there anyone that stood out that you would?
There was one like outer tables. Like I don't even remember how it went down, but it was basically me and the chip leader. I think I was second in chips. Chip leader, like we both kind of said like, hey, we don't really want to get involved with a hand with each other, and it ended up happening. I turned the nuts. He turned like second nuts, and it kind of plays itself. We got it all in, and I think I doubled up from like 1.3 to 2.6. I got the full double, and like as I was stacking my chips, I went on like a mini heater. Like I ace 10 of hearts. I think I ended up getting the river to fold, which I ended up making nut hearts. And then as I was stacking those chips, I looked down and saw kings, and like ace queen chip set gets overcalled by ace king. And I looked down with kings, and obviously, it's a pretty easy call. Yeah. So, I mean, I went from, 1.3 to like 4 million in like 20 minutes. And that was on day 3. And that was literally, I didn't make a hand up until that. I did not have, like...
That's the cool thing about tournaments.
Yeah,
Things can happen really fast.
I don't want to say I was stealing because I don't bluff, but,
right.
I was just making something happen for the first couple of days, and then finally went on a card rush.
There was a big 7 in there too. 7s to
There's
jacks.
There's a big 7s in there. Yeah, that was that's obviously the hand then, because that was my one.
You would have been out.
I would have been out.
At what place?
Like 40th or 50th.
So maybe like 40 or 50 or 60K or whatever the minute.
Yeah, it's big. Yeah, that's an expensive card right there. Yeah, so I got it on with 7s, like in the button. I think big blind call with jacks, and it's like, what do? You get lucky once in a while.
Sometimes you gotta hit a $1.2 million card.
Yeah, you gotta hit a 7 once in a while.
7s come a lot. I've heard that. What is favorite rookie card growing up? That was you mentioned the Griffey 89. I didn't fully understand the rest of that question. Since you're a casual player, did you just play ABC poker to win your recent big score, or is that a result of spending time to learn and improve your game? Are you claiming street studying? Are you claiming?
I mean, I played for a while. I mean, I'm definitely an amateur, but I mean, I played pretty decent cash games, so I played pretty aggressive. I mean, I guess I would say no, not ABC poker. I would say
you got a couple tricks.
Yeah,
that's all right.
A few tricks up my sleeve.
It's got a couple things going on. When did you realize you wanted to work in the sports card memorabilia business? How did you get started, guys? We have covered that pretty in depth inside of
really early,
early on. So that's going to be this will be up on iTunes, Spotify, all the good stuff. I think we've answered a lot.
We didn't every question, did we? There's a lot of questions.
Was that we did?
No, I think there was more.
Did we get more? Let me see here. Let me just pull through. There are a ton of questions. I'm gonna ask as well. Oh yeah, how does Kenzie? What does she think of the whole thing? Like, did it take her? Was it hard to convince her about this? Or I mean, when you met her, you were doing this extensively. Was it like when she says to her parents, "Yeah, my husband's a sports card memorabilia"? Did it take a little getting used to her understanding, or were they just like, "What?"
Yeah, I mean, Mackenzie's like the greatest woman in the world. I mean, she understood everything, and she let me do my thing. Early on when we were dating, her mom definitely struggled with the fact of what I did, and I remember a few months into it, I remember her dad came to my warehouse and like saw this real business.
Yeah.
So like he flipped instantly because he was like, when you just say buy and sell baseball cards, you think of like, living in your mom's basement and making enough to buy Subway. But
right.
When he came and saw the business, like he was immediately on. It took her, another. We've been married for 6 years now, so it's taken her still about 6 years and counting to come around. So she's still working on it. But
still getting there.
Yeah.
We got some questions on Instagram as well. What about? Okay. Which part of Michigan? Beaglick says he's moving there. What part? You grew up in where? Which part?
Milford. Yeah,
Milford.
Yeah, about 15 minutes north of Ann Arbor. Big Michigan fan. U of M.
Give us your favorite sports teams in each of the major sports.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big home guy. I mean, I'm big Lions. We suck every year, but I still support them. Pistons, Bulls for Georgia. U of M. Big. I mean, I'd say Michigan football, Michigan basketball.
And Red Wings.
I never get into hockey. I mean,
Stevie Y.
Yeah, Stevie Y. Like I've done stuff with a lot of hockey cards, but as far as going and watching hockey game, I've only been to a few games. It's fun, but
they are fun. Hockey games.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
We got a question here from Jake and Davis. When's the next time I'll have a chance to check raise him at Greektown? Do you get up in Windy? How often are you getting to play poker up there?
At Greektown, we used to play big cash games there years ago. We've been playing a lot more at MGM. I get down there, it's just hard to get away. I mean, honestly, like, the games start good at like 9, 10 at night, and if I make it to 10 at night, kids put the kids to bed, it's hard to go.
What are your thoughts on Gladdie Jr.?
He's playing amazing right now. The thing is, like, some of these young guys are hyped so much that, like, before Gladdie even played a game, like, his best stuff's like $10,000-$15,000. So, you know,
I'm not sure I understand.
Hi, sir.
Oh, serious. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? 15 G's. Wait, before he's even played, this kid, the junior that's a big deal, right? When the father son Ken Griffey.
Yeah, and he's playing amazing. It's just I don't see. It's kind of worrisome. Like, if you pick wrong on some of these guys that are supposed to make it, I mean, you literally could buy a card for $10,000 and it's worth $2,000 if you bust. So,
you're more of you like the bigger upside, like the Brady's for $25 that go to $400K.
Those are good ones. You know, buy Brady. You know, Brady's up there now, but yeah, you got to find the new sneaky guy. You got to find the guy that isn't like super hyped right now. Like, obviously Zion's gonna be crazy hype when he comes out. Like, look at, you know, the 5th pick to the 20th pick and do your research. You know, I've had a few guys pan out really well like that. So yeah, there's a lot of research into just.
What about Drew Brees is an example that sort of like was an easy kind of like in your looking. I remember we were talking. That was sort of something where it's like seeing the numbers and the milestones and where he was at and what was going on. It was sort of obvious, but he's like 10x or something in the last few years. Right?
Yeah, Brees, like, looking at it was like the most obvious thing in the world, and for years it just sat at whatever, you know, the prices it sat at, even with this crazy numbers. And then a couple of years ago, the stuff just started trending upwards, and, you know, in the last couple of years, the stuff went 10x, and it's been there the whole time. I mean, Phillip Rivers is another guy. His numbers he's like top 10 in everything. If he wins the Super Bowl, his stuff's gonna 4 or 5x.
Here, room service. Is that something that is that something like? But I mean, that's hard to win the Super Bowl, right? His team's not really a contender, but you know, he could get. What if he's a backup? It wouldn't work.
No,
right?
He needs to be the guy. I mean, they should put like a little asterisk next to it, because it's like the Jordan effect. Like, you know, when you play in the Brady era, you know, it's hard to win. I mean, a lot of people liked the Chargers this last year, and, you know, they ran into Brady.
Yeah, there. Look at this is great. We have great stuff going on in the background. We got Bill. We got room service. We are gonna do a giveaway. I think this is. Did we miss a couple? I mean, there's a lot of questions here. So the thing is, some of these questions we've covered already.
Yeah, because I think some of them were light already. Go to the very bottom.
How did it feel? We answered this one. We answered that. Didn't understand that question.
The other goal.
Yeah, I think this is.
What impact does it poker on your family environment?
Oh, nice. Actually, that looks good. Yeah. Do you feel any? I guess it's necessarily not even poker, but like the sports and because I feel like there's never. You could always be working, right?
Yeah,
You just have so many cards, so many things come in. You have employees. How many employees?
Full time, 4 guys, and then a couple guys that help part time, and, you know, a lot of guys that are always buying deals and flipping me deals and stuff. As far as the family environment, I mean, you travel a ton too. It just traveling sucks when you have a family. So, like I said, wife is extremely cool. You know, I miss the kids, and, you know, and family, but it is what it is. You know, got to travel to make money. But when I'm home, that's my biggest thing. Something I need to work on is turning it off. Like, phone, you know, the phones you always get emails and everything. So that's my biggest flaw in life is I need to just learn to put the phones up for a couple hours and just veg out.
How do you meditate? Do you have a routine? Like, what? Give us your daily. Like, how do you do that? How do you disconnect? Because there must be. Literally, you never can turn it off. I can see how it is. I mean, just there's just so much inventory, so many deals. There's always something. It's like you just basically know you can make money in terms of doing what you're doing.
Honestly, I don't turn it off. It's something like that's my biggest struggle. I mean, even when we go up north, like we you know, kind of get away from everything. Like, you know, for services is not as good and everything, and just, but you always find a way to connect to the outside world, even when you're trying to get away.
All right, let's see.
So talk about how's your health bet coming?
Oh yeah, we got a bet. Speaking of
what's going on?
Let's talk about that.
Man. This is like life-changing shit.
Yeah, what's going on with the weight? Give us a little bit of lifestyle.
So when Bill and I were at the Atlantis, this was in Necker Island. This was his 50th birthday in Necker. Yeah. Bill was, everyone's like, we're at the beach. Everyone's got their shirt off. All these poker guys are in great shape. Obviously I'm not Jason Koon ripped. So me and Bill started talking. We ended up making a weight bet and body fat percentage. And when I made the bet, I was 40% body fat and I weighed 265. We're actually right around halfway through. I've lost almost 38 pounds, and I'm down to like 25% body fat. So got about 6% to go. Feeling pretty good about it. Bill might be paying up here, so it's honestly probably the best bet I've ever made in my life because I've dieted for like a couple weeks at a time, but like doing this for 3 months now. I don't know. I just read on Instagram. Someone said 21 days is what it takes to change a habit. 90 days is what it takes to make a lifestyle change. And I really feel like it's been a lifestyle change now. I feel a lot better. I still want to lose like another 15 or 20 pounds, but it's just different. Like, no more completely pigging out. Maybe
here and there a little.
Yeah, here and there, but. I mean, the last 3 months it's been, I'm craving some food because I've been pretty tight the last 3 months.
I hadn't eaten fast food in a long time. I think I had it 2 or 3 times in a week or something. We were hanging out a few days, so you definitely.
Yeah, I haven't had fast food for 3 months. I mean, I think
you've been on point.
I've been on point, so
happy wife too. She's got to be happy. You're getting more shape,
she's been on it. She's been on it too. Yeah, she cooks me like like I said, I don't want to sit here and preach too much for my wife, but she's amazing. She cooks 3 times a day for me. You kind of got to cook at home if you want to be somewhat healthy. So,
I would say, in terms of, all right. So, in terms of like, is that when you go and you do, like, so when you go play live poker, how do you set yourself? How do you do that in terms of like an amount of time? Do you give yourself when you say I'm going to Greek Town or you go play with T-shirt? You actually have a table at your house. You play sometimes. Some games.
Yeah. If I can get people at my house, like I'd much rather play because then I just go to bed. And,
right.
If I wake up in the morning and they're still playing, like great. If I'm going to the casino and playing, I'm generally looking at my next day and seeing what I have planned. And usually, if the next day is pretty open, then it can go nuts. And if Tony goes with me, he's just. There's times when I've gone to the casino with him. We've played for like 8 to 10 hours. I've gone home, did full days of work, showered, slept, gone back to the casino. He's still playing, like because so he reminds me of in my 20s. So, pretty much my next day is like light. Then you can be degenerate all night. You don't want to be waking playing all night and have to wake up at 8 or 9 in the morning and do real work.
And you got a tough day there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of that, we got Antonio waiting for us. We are going to Playground Poker, which is going to be fun. We're going to be playing the main event. I think Bill, you have to leave tomorrow, right? No main event. No main for Bill. Bill's in the mix though. He flew in. He's going to be hanging out. We're going over there, so we are going to give away a couple of tweets from $33 tickets. I think we're actually. We might have to. All right, we're gonna have to do this, and they've changed how this works. So I'm gonna do this real quick, guys. We're gonna draw 2 names. We'll do OTIA giveaways later. Let's do another time, I think, unless you want to do something. I don't know how we can
do one. Yeah, I mean, we'll just say 25 random Jordans.
25 Jordans. So we're going to do 2 $33 tickets first, and then we're going to do 25 random Jordans. If you were one of those people that entered the $33 ticket, you might get a little bonus here, a third giveaway. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll do the giveaways. Jason, tell me, this is a new format, so I don't even know how to do this. We're going to try this. Tell me how to pick a winner. Tell me when.
1, 2, 3, draw.
All right, we hit draw, and it's not working. Look at this. They just changed on me, man. Technology's hard. Hold on. We got Vadrian.
There's nothing works.
Nothing works, man. Nothing effing works. I can't take it. Pick a winner. It was so simple, and now it's different. Hold on. Can you do it? Let's see. Bill, why doesn't stuff work? Copy paste. It's like it should work. It's supposed to be here. It's set up. We got a nice thing.
It's like when you go to a fancy restaurant and they fuck up like the basic food that you love by adding all this crazy shit.
Yeah,
it doesn't work anymore.
It's amazing. This was not broken. All right, I'm gonna copy.
Sweet potato fries.
This looks good. All right, guys, I'm gonna copy this, and we're gonna go here, and when I paste it, I think it shows a winner. So the draw has been made. All right, someone just named Generic SN Poker. I'm gonna have to take a note of this. So we got Generic SN Poker is gonna win. That's $33 ticket on Party Poker. I will message you on that, and then I guess we're gonna do it again, and then we're gonna do one more. So we'll do this. Let me just take this out. We got to copy paste again. I think this is gonna work.
Have Bill draw.
Ooh, we could have Bill do it, but I just want to make sure.
Or have Bill draw for my
for the 25
for the 25
tickets.
I get to click buttons. I like clicking buttons.
Yeah, this is you get to get in there and fire something here. All right, I'm gonna paste, and let's see. Fucking A, dude. I just don't know how to. I don't know how to do this. This really is hard. All right. Well, guys, I really don't. Vadran is around. He's clicking some stuff. I don't know how we're gonna knock it off. I think I'm gonna end up messaging you guys after, because this is the one winner. We have one more, and then we want to do 25. If Vadran's listening and he can get on my computer, it's all messed up. So, guys, we're gonna have Bill. We're gonna do it afterward. We're gonna do an off the screen, which is less exciting, but it's someone's gonna get a mystery message, and Bill's gonna do it.
Bill's the most honest guy I know too. Yeah. So I mean,
there we go. So. Well, Bill's gonna let you know someone's winning 25 tickets. We got Jason Koonce. We got to go play some poker, guys. Thank you so much, Jason. Always a pleasure.
We got it in. Yeah,
we're going to play. We're gonna play some live poker. This could be a repeat podcast guest after one of us. You know, maybe Jason wins it. You got the pressures off your back. You get to go for it. You already got a huge score. You're here to have some fun, get some chips, or get out.
Totally relaxed now. Whatever happens.
In the mix. Shout out to Elliot Rowe, guys. We're gonna see you soon. We'll be at the tables. Follow OTIA Sports. He's on Instagram. He's on Twitter. He's on all the good stuff. And we got Wild Bill Perkins munching over here as well. We're heading out to Playground. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. And again, this is up on iTunes, Spotify, and across the board. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you.